greatest castle of the north is Winterfell. According to legend, House Stark has held a castle at Winterfell for 8,000 years since the Dawn Age, though it has been considerably expanded over the centuries. The castle is located alongside the King's Road as it makes its way from the Wall to the capital at King's Landing, more than 1,000 miles to the south. Castle is located on a hot springs, the furnaces of the world, the same fires that made the 14 flames of the smoking mountain of Dragonstone. The hot water from those springs circulates through the walls and helps to keep the castle warm during the harsh, long winters. The Winter Town, so called because it lies mostly deserted during summer, has rows of small houses built of log and undressed stone. Its streets are muddy during summer when 4/5 of the homes are left empty. During winter, even clansmen from the northern mountains come to Wintertown, hiding from cold. During long dark winters, warming by the hearths, small folk tell stories of a dragon whose breath heats water beneath castle. The great main gates have a drawbridge that opens into the market square of the winter town. The market square has wooden stalls for produce and goods, and a well at its center. The local alehouse is called Smoking Log. King's Road lies past the castle and town. The inner walls of Winterfell are estimated to be some 2,000 years old. In later years, a defensive moat was dug around them. Then a second, outer wall was raised beyond the moat. The inner walls stand 100 feet high, the outer walls 80. There are guard turrets on the outer wall and more than 30 watch turrets on the crenellated inner walls. North Gate of Winterfell is much taller than the South Gate, and there is a narrow tunnel inside of the inner wall stretching halfway around the castle, allowing travel from the third floor of the South Gate all the way to the first floor of the North Gate without interruption. Hunter's Gate opens directly onto open fields and the Wolfswood, so people can come and go without having to cross through the winter town. Kennels and kitchens are located near it. The first keep is the oldest surviving part of the castle, but is no longer in use. Long abandoned tower, round and squat and decorated with gargoyles. Around it lies a lich yard, where the kings of winter would lay their loyal servants. Crypts are also located in the oldest part of the castle. The crypt's ironwood door, which is located in the oldest section of Winterfell, near the first keep, is old and heavy. The cold and dark crypt is accessible by narrow and winding spiral stone steps, which lead to multiple levels. One floor contains a long line of granite pillars, 2 by 2, between which are entombed the dead of House Stark. While all family members can have tombs in the crypts, statues are traditionally only made for kings in the north and lords of Winterfell. The likenesses of these high lords are carved into the stone. Large stone direwolves curl at their feet. According to tradition, iron longswords across each lord's lap keep vengeful spirits within the crypt. The cavernous vault is larger than Winterfell itself, with older Starks buried in deeper and darker levels. The lowest level is said to be partly collapsed. The most recent tombs within the crypts are those of Lord Rickard Stark and his children, Brandon and Lyanna. The tombs further back, empty and unsealed, are saved for the future dead of House Stark. The Broken Tower, also known as the Burned Tower, was once the tallest watchtower in Winterfell. A lightning strike set it afire in the middle of the 2nd century after Aegon's conquest, and the top third of the tower collapsed inward, but no one bothered to rebuild it. It stands behind the old inner ward. The glass garden is a greenhouse covered with thick yellow glass. It is heated by the hot springs, which turn it into a place of moist warmth. It is used to grow fruits, vegetables, and flowers. A small ancient Godswood covering 3 acres is enclosed within the walls. It has stood untouched for 10,000 years. At the center of the grove stands an ancient Weirwood with a face carved into it, standing over a pool of black water. Across the Godswood, from the heart tree, beneath the windows of the guest house, an underground hot spring feeds 3 small pools with a moss-covered wall looming above them. The Godswood is enclosed by walls and is accessed by a main iron gate or smaller wooden ones. The small sept was built for Lady Catelyn Tully, a Southron, by her husband Lord Eddard Stark. The bell tower is connected to the rookery by a bridge. The bridge is covered and runs from the 4th floor of the tower to the 2nd floor of the rookery. The maester's turret is located below the rookery. The library tower houses the library at Winterfell. A stonework staircase winds about its exterior. The Great Keep is the main part of the castle complex. Its walls are made of granite, and it is connected to the armory by a covered bridge. From a window on that bridge, one can see the entire yard. The Great Hall is used for receiving guests, and it is the place where the household would dine together, including the lord of the house. The Great Hall is very large. On the outside, it is enclosed with grey stone and covered with banners, with wide doors made of oak and iron, which opens to the castle yard, whilst the rear exit leads to a dimly lit gallery. Inside, it can hold 8 long rows of trestle tables, 4 to each side of the central aisle, and can seat 500 people. There is also a raised platform for noble guests. So, my noble guests, give signals to your maesters to send ravens to House Scriva TV by pointing your thumbs up. Let me know in the commentary section below if you want an excursus to Mount Caelan and the Wall.